the hottest pop culture stories of the day. This is Hot to Go. We'll be talking about Taylor Swift buying back her masters. Plus, there's another Hadid sister. This is Hot to Go. I'm Brittany.
I'm Kendall.
And I'm Mike.
And happy Masters Day.
Tradition unlike any other.
It's been a long time coming.
I looked for those little kid blow things that you at birthday parties.
Yeah, kazoos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any at my house, but I was going to bring some for you two because not only are you clowns for Reputation TV, but like this is a day of celebration.
It's a big, huge, awesome. If you don't know, now you're going to know. Taylor Swift has officially announced with an Instagram post that she bought back her 6 original albums. They are hers. She owns them now. No more re-recordings. Not only that, she said, hey, for the statement. So she did a picture on Instagram with her 6 original albums because the cover art is different for the Taylor's version. So these are the 6 original albums. And she said, for more information, go check out the letter on my website. And if you go to taylorswift.com, you get a handwritten letter from Taylor Swift.
Oh,
no Easter eggs, just facts.
Just facts and
Love
transparency on a level that we were way off. Like, way off. You know, every so often, a Swiftie in your life will say, I think Taylor's version of this album's coming out, especially Reputation. That's the big one we've all been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
We found out that we were wrong. She wasn't even close to being done with it. She talked about, and let's kick off this statement right. She said that I'm trying to gather my thoughts into something coherent right now, but my mind is just a slideshow. She went on to say, after 20 years of having the carrot dangled and then yanked away, it's finally happened. All of the music I've ever made now belongs to me.
You belong with
me. All my music videos, all the concert films, the album, the art, the photography, the unreleased songs, the memories, the magic, the madness, every single era, my entire life's work.
I think that's an important thing to point out. Just as like I'm a Taylor fan, but I'm an outsider in the Swiftie universe, is that this isn't just the masters, it's the concert films, album art, photography, unreleased songs. I mean, that too is a massive thing to take on, to be able to buy back and call your own.
Yeah. I mean, she couldn't, we'll talk about kind of why this all started and what happened, but she made Miss Americana this documentary on Netflix, and she couldn't even use her original music.
Right.
She wanted to perform a song on the AMAs, and she couldn't. She didn't own them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a whole conversation that started because of this. We'll touch on that as well. Is that like, should artists be able to own their music? Like, what should the contract look like, especially when you're young, vulnerable, and you're entering the music industry? She wrote, to say that this is my greatest dream come true is actually a pretty reserved about it. To my fans, you know how important this has been to me, so much so that I meticulously re-record and re-release 4 of my albums, calling them Taylor's versions. I can't thank you enough for helping me reunite with this art that I have dedicated my life to, but have never owned until now. She talks about how she bought this from Shamrock Capital and how they treated it, even though that it was a business deal on their side, they understood how important this was to her. They seemed to treat her very fair. She even stated that if she ever gets a tattoo, it might just be a shamrock in the center of her head. And I know this is when it gets good. So all you clown I want you to remove that overlined lip of ours. I know. What about Rep TV? What about Reputation Taylor's version? Full transparency, I haven't re-recorded even a quarter of it. The Reputation album was so specific to that time in my life, I kept hitting a stopping point when I tried to remake it. All that defiance, that longing to be understood while feeling purposely misunderstood, that desperate hope. She said that, to be perfectly honest, it's the one in the first 6 albums that I thought I couldn't be approved upon by redoing it. And I feel that.
Couldn't get better.
No, rep is rep. I mean, I told you, when I cheat on Taylor's versions, it's always it'll always be rep, because Reputation was my favorite album that she toured. That was my favorite tour.
Well, and some background for other people too. We all thought Reputation maybe was coming out, not just because it was one of only 2 that she had left. As Brittany always says, she wants her name and her reputation, right? But because of what just happened with Hulu and The Handmaid's Tale, it looked like she gave them a Taylor's version of one of her songs. Which one?
What you made me do.
Okay,
Yeah.
Look What You Made Me Do. And everyone went, oh, I think that's Taylor in the video. Oh, that must mean she's releasing Rep TV. So this was, when you see these clown makeup things all over social media over the next few days, maybe even weeks, that is what this is about, because that specific song like lit people up thinking we were getting this Reputation TV.
Not even a quarter of it has been re-recorded.
You see that song and half of another.
I was going to say, because how many, I'm trying to see how many things are on Reputation. It's not like a giant.
Somewhere between probably 12 and 18,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So yeah, not even a quarter. She talks about how this was her hardest album to re-record. It's why it ended up being her last. She said that she's completely re-recorded her entire debut album. And I really love how it sounds now. Those two albums can still have their moments to reemerge when the time is right, if that's something you guys would be excited about. But it has to be, but if it happens, it won't be from a place of sadness and longing for what I wish I could have. It will just be a celebration now.
I do love at the end too, she said to her fans, thank you for being curious about something that used to be thought of as too industry centric for broad discussion. And she means, listen, nobody talked about people owning their masters.
Yes.
It wasn't something like, it just seemed too inside baseball, as they'd say, right?
Yeah.
Until she started talking about it back in 2019. And then it really led to broader discussions where she said, so many people have talked in the past. She didn't say that in this article, but
she did.
She said, no, what she has said in the past that she didn't say here was other artists have come to her and said, I thank you so much for teaching me about this, because I had no idea that this was even something that like we could do.
Yeah, she writes in that. She wrote, every time a new artist tells me they negotiated to own their master recordings in their record contract because of this fight, I'm reminded of how important it was for all of this to happen. So how cool is that? Like you're saying, is like conversations that may not have happened about owning your music and going into the industry with your head on your shoulders thinking like, listen, I should own my music out of all things. I can deal with a lot with the contract, but at the end of the day, owning your music is so valuable.
Wild.
It's wild. And we talked about this too. We went back and forth last week. We're like, would she buy them all? I'm not sure, because it came up that they could possibly go for sale from Shamrock Records. As we know, the big conversation was around when Scooter Braun sold these originally and didn't even give her a chance to buy them. He ended up selling them. There was all these conversations around why, the key aspect of why they wouldn't want to sell them to her is they wanted her to promise to make them more albums. Like that was a control thing, which makes sense for them. They're a business. They say, not a problem, doll. You can sign with us. You can use your music as much as you want. I mean, we still own it, but what we're going to need you to do is make us 3 more albums. And that's normally what you do, is you keep negotiating and staying with this record label and things like that. Well, when she left that record label, they said, you can leave, but all this other stuff is behind glass. Like, that's not yours, doll.
Yeah. And she said at the time, she's like, I knew if I stayed with Big Machine Records that sure, they could, every time I would release an album, they'd give me the rights to an old album. Like, oh, okay, great. But I also knew that as soon as I signed on that dotted line, they were going to sell the company. And then I would be owned by someone else, could be treated differently. Some of this could all be null and void. So I was like, all right, fine. I'm going to leave and see who buys it. And then we saw who bought it. Scooter Braun.
We are unsure. They don't have for sure. We're talking Taylor Swift and how much she bought her masters for. We don't know. They're saying it's north of 300 million. They're speculating that it's somewhere between 600 million and 1 billion. But
actually, no. So last week we speculated about whether or not she'd purchase it, because the belief was Shamrock actually bought it for that 600 million to $1 billion range. It has now been said in this most recent report that was grossly misreported.
Okay.
They did not. Shamrock did not pay anywhere near or in that 600 to $1 billion range. In fact, it's much closer to that $300 million range that Scooter Braun paid. And as Taylor has said, it feels like it was a very fair and in good faith deal that she did. So most people are speculating because of that, we are much closer to the 300 range, somewhere probably in that $400 million range, way more than nearing $1 billion.
Which, when you made around an estimated $2 billion in just ticket sales from her Eras tour, okay, yeah, she can own that without having to have any other investors be a part of it if she just gets it all in line.
And with her too, it's like, okay, so I mean, usually it's rare to say like your time's actually worth more than that. Her time's probably in the long run worth more than that. If re-recording Reputation TV is taking her time, money, energy away from her creating something else, following some other thread, it's like, then that actually just makes sense. And Reputation is one of those albums, like she re-recorded Red and Speak Now, and a lot of those will go, oh, this is pretty good. I didn't want a new rep in a lot of ways because Reputation is so good and mad. And like, I don't think she's that person anymore. Just like, I don't think I'm that person who first listened to Reputation TV. Like, it just isn't, you just can't really tap into how angry and mistreated she felt.
We even heard that with some of the earlier Taylor's versions where she did them. And it's like, yeah, you're singing this song about a place and time that you definitely aren't in now.
Totally.
So like the theme of this song about being innocent and going through this and for the first and all this stuff, it's like, we know you've lived a life since then.
Yeah.
It doesn't come off as authentic as it used to.
Yeah.
And I will just say, because, I mean, this investment that she made, because it's an investment in herself in this purchase. There's a reason why companies like Shamrock and Hypnosis and all these other ones are buying up these massive masters and the rights to all these. It's because they're not going to lose money.
Yeah.
These are investments. So Taylor's only going to be able to make more money with this, having the rights to it now.
What's wild too, and you can't directly correlate it, right? But Scooter Braun, after buying Taylor's masters, as we said in 2019, and then releasing them selling them pretty quickly in 2020 because there was so much just drama, and she was so clear about how much she hated it. It happened by like 2023. So within 3 years, he lost Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, J Balvin, eventually Justin Bieber. Even he lost a lot of his high profile clients because of this issue with Taylor Swift. Now he's out of the music management industry. He has just said that it was just time to be done. He'd been doing it for 23 years. He was now on this other side of the business. But you have to wonder if because of how much of an aggressive stance she took, and then her fans coming to her aid, that it led to really, that man bit off way more than he could chew by going, oh yeah, Taylor Swift, do you want to go? We can go.
Yeah.
It happened slowly. He's still a bajillionaire. He's still well connected, but he lost a lot in that process too. And his reputation, speaking of reputation, not great.
No, you're so right. I mean, I think a lot of these, and like at the end of the day, I'm sure, like he had his rhymes and reasonings, and like he looked at it as a business. Obviously, Taylor Swift can't look at it like a business. She talks about this being the thing she's wanted more and than she's wanted anything in her whole life is to have all her works that are hers. It's like she can't look at it like a business. So it's not like he was being this evil mastermind. No, he was flipping things, making money. And there wasn't really any human aspect in it. I think Scooter Braun is one of those people that I don't think often, especially prior to this, lost a lot of fights. And I mean, technically still walked away with making great money off of that deal.
Right.
But like you said, I mean, you're not hearing people flex about knowing him like they used to.
No. I'm curious from the two of you. Did you think she was going to spend the money? At the time, we thought was north of $600 million.
Yeah.
It was not. That kind of money on buying back her masters. Did you really think she was going to do it?
Yeah, we talked about this last week, and I did think so. I thought, because she's so sentimental, and I thought she would want to own it all. And we talked about like the price tag is a huge price tag, but I mean, think about it. That is her. I mean, the fact that she owns all of her music now, if she ever wanted to do anything with it or sell it, but she's also just like such an emotional person that means so much to her. And she's written so much music since then talking about, like all of her music is locked up, but she's got herself and that's enough. And like, I mean, I think especially after the Eras tour, like reflecting on her whole career and how important that was and how like not only emotionally worth it was, but financially worth it was. I think that really solidified for me that she was going to own them all.
when I heard the $1 billion, I was like, no way, just because I don't care. She's worth maybe 1.6, and that's with all of her assets, all of everything else. But if it is closer to that 400 range, yeah, it made a lot of sense. And that's my favorite thing is what you hit on there at the end, Brittany. I just imagine she got done every single night of that Eras tour and just playing her heart out, playing all the songs, all of her favorite songs from all the different eras. And then she looked at that calendar and she was like, all right, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing this. This is a grind. This is the biggest tour anyone's ever done. We're going to get through this tour. And then I'm going to be in a position where I can go buy back all of my stuff. And I imagine she just had to be just elated. Now that you know that was in her mindset and that was her plan to do next, it's really awesome. It's so cool.
It's cool. And I think it's also like, I get it. Like she's Taylor Swift. It's sometimes hard to relate, but like bet on yourself. You know what I mean? Like believe in yourself, bet on yourself. And I just think there's something to that where you go, it's more powerful than any company you work on is if you really believe in yourself.
And this woman, she's playing chess when everybody else in the room is in checkers. Like she thinks so far ahead.
Yeah.
There's such a goal in everything she does. And it's never on a malicious level. Like a lot of people who think with that much foresight are usually not someone that you go, oh, they're such a wonderful person. Usually it's not used for progress, for good, for the benefit of other people. It's usually pretty self-indulgent and oftentimes it hurts others.
Yeah.
She has that mentality, but she uses it in a way that benefits her, but also benefits others too, in a way that like you can go, whoa, how does it benefit me that Taylor Swift owns the rights to the masters of your music? You're right. It doesn't directly benefit you, but it benefits any other singer who now can go, you know what? I want to do that. And if you maybe own a company, you go, oh, I could do this with this part of my company and this line of my work. If you're a female, it goes, there's empowerment there that there has never been for women before until someone else does it. Like there are things that she does because of this ability to see so far in advance and work her tail off to get there. Reading that letter that she wrote to her fans and to everyone explaining what had happened, like you have to go, bravo, hell yeah, girl.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I also love the transparency. Hey guys, I'm not even a quarter finished with Reputation. And everywhere I go, everyone's saying Rep TV, and the pressure. And she's her saying, as I get it, you want this. Someday I will give you the vault tracks, but dolls, I'm not even close. No. I'm not even close. And to that, we all went, okay, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Because she could say, yeah, well, I also have, she could lie to us, but like being like, this one's a hard one for me. Okay. The anger I have to tap into is damaging.
It's funny. Okay. Totally different now, but a good friend of Taylor Swift might have a new sister. Supermodels of the world, be aware there is not one, not two, but now 3 Hadid sisters. Yeah, my jaw hit the floor when I saw this. Gigi and Bella Hadid have a half sister. Her name is Aiden Nix. She's a fashion designer, stylist, influencer. She's gorgeous. I guess after their dad and mom got a divorce, he had a very short relationship with someone else. She got pregnant.
Yeah.
And had this baby girl who, until she was 19 years old, thought this other person was her father.
Yeah, Mohammed Hadid is their father's name. He's been on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. He's like a bajillionaire.
So he they're calling it like a romance, you know, it was a fling,
love child.
Anyway, he with this other woman, her name's Terry. She lives in Florida. She has a baby. This baby thinks like, I've got this other dad. And then decides once her father passed away, I'm sure her mom was like, hey, I have some things I want to let you know. Did a DNA test just because she was curious. Finds out she's related to the supermodels Gigi and Bella. And then it's like, oh yeah, Mohammed Hadid is your dad. The sisters are now coming forward. Clearly somebody got this information because they don't have the same name. You know, they're not in the same, this girl is a private person. But the sisters are now like, hey, she's a beautiful addition to our family. We love her so much. We've known for a while now. She wants to be private, so please leave her alone. But the couple of pictures that people are pulling off of the internet, you're like, well, if you would like to be a model and join the Hadid family, you are more than welcome. Just wild. Celebrities are just like us.
I mean, she definitely is like, could easily pick this up. She's a fashion designer, stylist, an aspiring influencer. So she doesn't want to be that private.
That private, right.
No.
They've said
it'd be
that
one-
she wants to like live in New York City without being bombarded, basically.
Yeah, I just mean like it'd be one thing if she was like a kindergarten teacher. Like an influencer means like you have to be out there influencing. So
Right.
there's like a part of her that's like, all right.
Isn't that wild too? Without knowing that connection, going, I want to go into fashion.
Yeah,
What?
that is crazy.
It is pretty cool. I mean, what would you do if you took a DNA test and they're like, hey, you're related to these supermodels?
I said, I need to meet Yolanda. I need to meet their mom, Yolanda, who was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
I don't care what any of the rest of it is. I want to meet Yolanda.
I don't like Gigi and Bella. Okay, fine. But yeah, I'm going to meet Yolanda.
No, you wouldn't. You'd say, Gigi, I want to meet Taylor.
Fearless. That's true. I couldn't say that outright. I'd be like, we should go to New York, hang out in a penthouse.
Hey,
Maybe Taylor's. Yeah, that would be the long con.
checks out.
Or Andy Cohen. Either way, you're right. You know me well.
Speaking to heading to New York with some of Taylor's friends, we got some new celebrities courtside for the New York Knicks game last night. It was game 5, trying to force a game 6 between the Knicks and the Pacers. But it's, of course, celebrity watch every time we see this. Timothy Chalamet has been there often. But Miles Teller and Kelly Teller actually joined and sat right next to both Timothy Chalamet and Kylie. It's a little interesting there.
That's very interesting.
Considering
They're
Kylie.
so cute.
Yeah, but
Yeah, there's background.
there's some background there. I mean,
Give it
Miles
to me.
Teller and Kelly Teller are very close with Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
and we obviously know the Kardashians' history with Taylor.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. Just thought it was noteworthy.
It's interesting. You know what though? It's like I don't think the like the side players get as much flack,
Sure.
especially after a bunch of them. I mean, freaking Lana Del Rey did a Skims campaign. Like, I think Taylor is like sick of trying to attack people just because they're friends with them. So I think these two auxiliary players, they're fine.
Fine. It's so funny you're talking about auxiliary players when we're talking courtside, because I had a moment where I was like, is Brittany talking about the bench right now?
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
God, no. I would never. I'm so sorry that I made you think that.
I'm so sorry.
Also on the sideline, Shabuzi was there, Idina Menzel. You also had Spike Lee, of course. Mentioned Ben Stiller, Maude Apatow. But Ben Stiller was the name I wanted to bring up because you may have heard some controversy around Ben Stiller and Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Names coming up once again. It was actually game 4 where the Pacers beat the Knicks in Indiana when Pat McAfee took the mic and made some comments.
Mhm.
In fact, he said, it looks like we got some big wigs from the big city here. Guys like Spike Lee, guys like Ben Stiller, guys like Timothy Chalamet. Well, why don't we send those sons of bitches back home with their ears bleeding?
Yep. He said that in an arena.
No.
So like wants to like hit their head to cause TBIs?
No,
Brittany, they mean loud.
they want to be loud.
Oh, okay. I got really literal.
Well, so did Ben Stiller because he took to social media and was like, weird. Okay. Weird. And then went on to say just basically like everyone else was fine, but this was a weird interaction. And I don't know what the deal is with that.
And again, they're the opposing team. That
They were
was
the
why.
opposing team.
So they're like, let's
I think
attack.
it's weird too. I'm
It's
like, why
weird.
are we attacking? Like, I get we do that with games in general, like attack the other fan base, but to point people out, stupid.
It's very aggressive.
I'm not in the business of defending Pat McAfee. I don't need to.
But
Like, he's Pat McAfee. He's got plenty to, and he's done plenty of problematic things. This guy was handed a microphone 30 seconds before they came back from a commercial break and said, here, do something. This guy who is the color commentator for the WWE. What do you think he's going to do? He's the Jesse Ventura of his time right now. He's going to cut a wrestling promo, and that's exactly what he did.
So to be clear, you're blaming the person who handed him the microphone.
I'm blaming the person who handed him the microphone. The Indiana Pacers organization made that decision to give him that mic and to rile up the crowd. That's literally what he was there to do.
Mike, you're blaming the intern.
He's not an intern. He gets paid well. But I'm just saying this is such a ridiculous, I don't know. It's such a non-story. Ben Stiller and him ended up going back and forth on social media. He got invited to the game last night, decided he couldn't go there. I don't think I would have gone there either. But fandom can go over the line sometimes. This was just riling up a crowd in a commercial break. It's not a big deal.
Tell us your thoughts. Are you team Kendall? Are you team Mike? That's your hot to go. Both hot and ready to go.